So I'm going to give an update on the SSP, the Safe and Sound protocol that I've been doing, and I've been doing it for a little over a week now, and just some of the things I've experienced. I'm going to start with just explaining some of the things that you'll need as you go through this process. A practitioner that you work with will most likely recommend these, but just know that these things are pretty crucial. If they don't recommend it, then I'd be asking them about it, and maybe it's not the right practitioner either. So one of the things they'll do is give you this scale of states. I have a sheet that details it. It's got some of my information on it, so I'm not going to show it to you, but I'll explain what's on it. Essentially, it explains what the dorsal vagal state is, which is on the lower level. It's when you're immobilized, collapsed. It's that disassociative state where you don't really feel anything. It's very, void of anything, but not in a positive way by any means. And then you go up to the sympathetic, the mobilized, the flight or fight state. And keep in mind, like, we can go in between those. Maybe you have one that is kind of your go-to, and then there's a certain way that you feel in each of those about the world and about yourself, technically. Or typically. So some of the things, that you would feel in either of those states is that the world is certain, scary, out of your control. And the way you may feel is actually scared as well. Now, when you get into the highest state, which is the ventral vagal, that is the safe, connected state. So that's when you feel like the world is wonderful and that you're safe and that you're connected. And you may feel differently in those different states too. These are just examples and things I kind of wrote down as well. The other thing that's going to be key is to keep a journal. That's really important so that you can actually monitor those states that you're in, and understand what gets you to those states. If you kind of go from one state to the other, some people may actually, go from dorsal vagal to sympathetic to then ventral. They may actually, climb that ladder and keep going in between those in that exact order, or maybe not. You'll want to keep track of physical symptoms, things you're experiencing, because your physical symptoms are your emotional state, and you can be experiencing those, and those can come first before you actually even realize there's anything going on mentally. So you want to keep track of which state you're in, and what's affecting those, of course, and just any body sensations or thoughts that you have come up. And this is going to help you see the progress you make, see if things are getting too difficult, because you may need to back off on how much you're doing the listening protocol. And then I've been keeping a journal too, and a lot of it is kind of normal, difficult stuff that came up. But what I want to share is something that happened yesterday that was really interesting. So I was actually thinking about a relationship, one that has caused some pain in me, and thinking about that pain. And I almost immediately felt this different sensation, something that I had never felt before. I actually started to think about this person in a way of, how can I serve this person and contribute to their happiness? I simply felt that versus really being able to focus on the pain. And I started crying, but I wasn't sad, or it wasn't a joyful cry. It wasn't a sad cry. It was something in between, and it was something that I'd never felt. And I kept thinking, I'm not sure what this feeling is. And confused by it, because it was something I had never felt. And I thought, this might be what love looks like. Not a feeling of what, kind of looking at my journal as I explain this, but not a feeling of what I can give, or what somebody can give me, or how they can make me feel better. But it was just love. No expectations, no request, just acceptance. And again, never feeling anything like this and not being able to understand it. It was completely devoid of any pain, completely devoid of joy. It was somewhere that existed in between. And in every time I think about that feeling, I do start to feel a little emotional about it, and not in a way that, again, feels like joy or pain. It is something in between there. It is a pure state of acceptance or something. And it felt like acceptance, a surrender to whatever is, but love regardless. I still don't know what it is. I still can't identify and explain what I experienced. I can say that I've never experienced anything like it before. I do a lot of meditation, and it was not the kind of joy and acceptance that I feel in meditation at times. It wasn't that release. It was something different, something at a higher level than that. And I can only guess that it might be related to that highest state of the ventral vagal, feeling safe and connected. Just feeling connected, no expectation, just acceptance and feeling safe enough to feel that way. And I could be wrong about what that was. That's what's kind of interesting, is that I'm going through this process and trying to understand it. And, I'm not able to completely understand it clearly. So I will keep updating you on my progress. And hopefully on the other side of this, I'll be able to provide a lot more insight too.